You're crazy with the heat. Credit's no good for a notion salesman.
Why not? What's the matter with credit?
It's old-fashioned. Charlie, you're an Ambil salesman. Your firm give credit?
No, sir.
Nor anybody else.
What?
For the merchandise, cash for the button hooks.
For the cotton good, cash for the hard good.
Cash for the soft goods. Cash for the fancy goods.
Cash for the noggins and the biggins and the furgins.
Cash for the hogshead, casket, demi-john, cash for the crackers, the pickles, the blood. Where do you get it?
You can talk, you can talk, you can bicker, you can talk. You can bicker, 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 you can talk, you can talk. Talk, 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 bicker, bicker, bicker. You can talk all you want, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
Like the mall detour, with the jump with it. People wanna go, wanna get up and go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the county.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Who's gonna patronize a little bit 2x4 kind of store?
You get it?
Not the Model T. I know. I'll take a gander at the store, at the modern store, at the present day store, at the present day modern departmentalized grocery store.
Where do you get it? Where do you get it?
You can talk, you can bicker, you can talk, you can bicker. You can talk, 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 bicker, bicker, bicker. You can talk all you want, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
Why? You need a biscuit, baby trouble. You need a crackers in the pack. You need a biscuit in an airtight sanitary pack with a cracker barrel. Obsolete, obsolete.
Obsolete, obsolete, obsolete. No, it didn't, but you gotta know the territory.
Gone, gone.
Gone with the hogshead, cask, and demi-john. Gone with the sugar barrel, pickle barrel, milk pan. Gone with the tub and the pail and the tears.
Ever meet a fella by the name of Hill?
Hill?
Hill.
Hill?
Hill? Hill?
Hill!
No.
Oh.
Just a minute.
Now he doesn't know the territory.
Doesn't know the territory?
What's the fella's line?
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line?
Or the cracker barrel being obsolete, or the you need a biscuit in an airtight sanitary package with a Model T Ford.
Just a minute.
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
Or a doggone thing. He's just a bang-bee, bell-ringing, big call, great go, neck-or-nothing, rip-roaring every time a bullseye salesman. That's Mr. Harold Hill, Harold Hill.
Tell us what's his line.
He's a fake, and he doesn't know the territory.
He's a music man.
He's a what? He's a what?
He's a music man, and he sells clarinets to the kids in the town, with the big trombones and the rat-a-tat drums and the big brass bass. And the piccolo, uniforms too, with the shiny gold braid on the coat and a big red stripe running.
Well, I don't know much about bands, but I do know you can't make a living selling big trombones. No, sir. Mandolin picks perhaps, and here and there a Jew's harp.
No, the fella sells bands, boys' bands. I don't know how he does it, but he lives like a king, and he dallies and he gathers and he plucks and he shines, and when the man dances, certainly boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When the man dances, certainly boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he doesn't know the territory.
River City Junction. Next. Oh. River City, population 2,212. River City. We have crossed the state line into Iowa, where cigarettes are illegal. Ah!
All right. If you're all through, I'll tell you about Harold Hill.
You really know Harold Hill?
Never saw him in my life, but I know this much. He's giving every one of us a black eye. After he's worked the town over, the next salesman to arrive gets automatically tarred and feathered and rode out to the city limits on a rail. Do you think that's funny? We'll wait till it happens to you. Your hair never grows back.
But why should he get rode out of town on a rail?
Because In order to sell band instruments and uniforms and instruction books, he has to guarantee to teach those kids to play.
Well,
And to form them kids into a band with himself as the leader.
What's wrong with that?
He don't know one note from another. That's what's wrong with that. And he can't tell a bass drum from a pipe organ. And I'll catch up with that swindling two-bit thimble rigger and when I do, I'll squeal on him so loud. he'll wish he-
Charlie! Wow, you're mad, Charlie. Sure like to be around when you catch up to that fella.
Well, it won't be on this trip. Not in Iowa. Even the great Professor Harold Hill would have tried to sell them neck-bowed Hawkeyes out here.
Gentlemen, you intrigue me. I think I'll have to give Iowa a try.
Don't believe I caught your name. Hill? Hill, you get back here, you!
there's nothing halfway about the Iowa ways. We treat you when we treat you, which we may not do at all. There's an Iowa kind, a special chip on the shoulder, attitude we've never been without that we recall. We can be cold as a falling thermometers in December if you ask about our weather in July. And we're so doggone stubborn we can stand, touch your noses for a week at a time and never say eye to eye. But what the heck, you're welcome. Join us at the picnic. You can have your fill of all the food you bring yourself. You really ought to give Iowa a try, provided you are contrary.
Morning, Marian.
Good morning, Marian.
It is, if you want to go around in your drawers all day.
And there I was at Madison Hospital. Cousin Will wasn't there. Aunt Bertha wasn't there. Aunt Bertha's dead. Oh, she wouldn't have come anyway. We can be
Cold as a falling thermometers in December if you ask about our weather in July. And we're so doggone stubborn we can stand touching noses for a week at a time and never see eye to eye. But we'll give you our shirt and a bag to go with it. If your crop should happen to die.
Even though we may not ever mention it again.
You really ought to give Iowa, Hawkeye, Dubuque, Des Moines, Davenport, Marshalltown, Mississippi, Hicks, Clear Lake. Ought to give Iowa a try.
Mr. Squires? Yes, I'm interested in hiring a rig for Sunday if you could accommodate me.
Then I expect you ought to see the man who's in charge of hiring rigs, who is late as usual.
Gregory?
Marcellus?
What are you doing here? But
Professor Hill's the name Harold Hill.
Greg, why didn't you tell me you was coming?
I didn't know I was myself. Besides, how did I know you'd end up in a tank town like this? You were a pretty big slicker back when you were doing business with me.
To make cold shaves the way you work. Besides, I got me a nice country girl, Ethel Toffenmeyer, boss's niece.
Gone legitimate, huh? I knew you'd come to no good.
So, what brings you here? You're not back in the band business. Last time I heard you was in steam automobiles.
I was.
But what happened?
Somebody actually invented one.
No.
Now give me the lowdown here, Mars.
Well, you're not gonna get in the band business with these stubborn Iowans, Greg. Besides, we got a stuck-up music teacher that'll expose you before you get your grip unpacked.
Male or female?
The music teacher, she's the librarian. Female.
Perfect. Just what I want to hear. If she passes by, point her out to me.
I will. So, what's the pitch?
Oh, same old thing. I gotta keep that music teacher off balance. My next step will be to get your town out of the serious trouble it's in.
But River City isn't in any trouble.
Then I'll have to create some. I'll have to create a desperate need for a boys' band. You remember. What's new around here? What can I use?
Nothing. Except the billiards parlor just put in a new pool table.
They've never had a pool table before?
No, only billiards.
Fine, that'll do. Thank you, Mars. And remember, music teacher.
Music teacher.
Mr. Dunlop?
Yep.
Either you're closing your eyes to a situation you do not wish to acknowledge, or you are unaware of the caliber of disaster indicated by the presence of a pool table in your community. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player. Certainly mighty proud to say I'm always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I spend with a cue in my hand are golden. Help you cultivate horse sense, and a cool head, and a keen eye. Did you ever take and try and find an ironclad leave to yourself from a three-railed billiard shot? But just as I say it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in a balk-line game, I say that any boob can take and shove a ball in a pocket. And I call that sloth. First big step on the road to the depths of degradé. I say first, medicinal wine from a teaspoon, then beer from a bottle. And the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pinchback suit. And listen to some big out-of-town Jasper, hear him tell him about horse race gambling. Not a wholesome trotting race, no, but a race where they sit down right on the horse. Like to see some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on Dan Patch. Make your blood boil? Well, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets in the table. Pockets that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum with a capital B, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. And all week long, your River City youth will be frittering away. I said, your young men will be frittering. Frittering away their noontime, supper time, chore time too. Get the ball in the pocket, never mind getting dandelions pulled and a screen door patched and a beefsteak pounded. Never mind pumping any water till your parents are caught with the cistern empty on a Saturday night, and that's trouble. Oh, we got lots and lots of trouble. I'm thinking of the kids in the knickerbocker shirt tail young ones peeking in the pool hall window after school. We got trouble. Folks right here in River City. Trouble with a capital B, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. Now I know all you folks are the right kind of parents. I'm gonna be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on while they're loafing around that hall? They'll be trying out Bevo, trying out Cubeb, trying out tailor-made like cigarette fiends, and bragging all about how they're gonna cover up a telltale breath with Sen-Sen. One fine night, they leave the pool hall, heading for the dance at the Artery, libertine men and scarlet women, and ragtime, shameless music that'll grab your son, your daughter, the arms of the jungle, animal instinct, mass hysteria. Friends, the idle brain is the devil's playground trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
With a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
That stands for pool.
We've surely got trouble.
We've surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
Gotta figure out a way to keep the young ones moral after school.
Our children's gonna have trouble.
Mothers of River City, heed that warning before it's too late. Watch for the telltale signs of corruption. The moment your son leaves the house, does he rebuckle his knickerbockers below the knee?
Trouble!
Is there a nicotine stain on his index finger?
Trouble!
A dime novel hidden in the corn crib?
Trouble!
Does he start to memorize jokes from Captain Billy's whiz-bang?
Trouble!
Are certain words creeping into his conversation? Words like, swell, and so's your old man. Well, if so, my friends, we got trouble.
Oh, we got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here in River City.
With a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
That stands for pool.
We've surely got trouble.
We surely got trouble.
Right here in River City.
Right here.
Remember the Maine, Plymouth Rock, and the Golden Rule.
Our children's gonna have trouble.
Oh, we got trouble. We're in terrible, terrible trouble that game with the 15 numbered balls of the devil's tool. Oh yes, we got trouble, trouble, trouble. With a T. Gotta rhyme it with P. And that stands for pool. Drop your...
No.
Didn't I meet you in?
No.
I'll only be in town a short while, and...
Good.
I mean, it's...
That you, daughter?
Yes, Mama. Keep on, Amaryllis. I'll be there in a minute. Hello, Mama. Fine, dear. Now your exercises. Yes, Mom.
I don't remember the library being open last 4th of July.
It was, Mama, all evening. Mama, a man with a suitcase has been following me all over town.
Oh? Who?
I never saw him before.
Did you say anything?
He tried.
Why didn't you say anything?
Mama, of course not. Now don't dawdle, Amaryllis. So do, la, re, ti, me a little slower. Please keep the fingers curved as nice and high as you possibly can. Don't get faster, dear.
If you don't mind my saying so, it wouldn't have hurt you to find out what the gentleman wanted.
I know what the gentleman wanted.
What, dear?
You'll find it in Balzac.
Well, excuse me for living, but I've never read it.
Neither has anyone else in this town.
There you go again with that same old comment about the low mentality of River City people and taking it all too much to heart.
Now, Mama, as long as the Madison Public Library was entrusted to me for the purpose of improving River City's cultural level, I can't help my concern that the ladies of River City keep ignoring all my counsel and advice.
But darling, when a woman's got a husband and you've got none, why should she take advice from you? Even if you can quote Balzac and Shakespeare and all them other highfalutin Greeks.
If you don't mind my saying so, you have a bad habit of changing every subject.
No, I haven't changed the subject. I was talking about that stranger.
What stranger?
With the suitcase who may be your very last chance.
If you think that I'd allow a common masher now, really, Mama, I have my standards where men are concerned. I have no intention.
I know all about your standards, and if you don't mind my saying so, there's not a man alive who could hope to measure up to that blend of Paul Bunyan, St. Pat, and Noah Webster. You've concocted for yourself a highest imagination. You are a stubbornness in your library full of books.
Well, if that isn't the best I've ever heard.
Thank you. Can I have a drink of water, please?
May I?
May I have a drink of water, please?
Yes, dear.
Winthrop, it's after dark. Is that a way to walk into the house?
Hello.
Now that won't do at all. I'll have a hug from you, boy. That lady over there is your sister, young man.
Hello, Winthrop.
Winthrop, where's your manners?
I'm having a party on Saturday if you'd like to come. I would especially like it very much if you would come, Winthrop.
Well, Winthrop, Amaryllis asked you to her party. Are you going or aren't you?
No.
No what?
No, thank you.
You know the little girl's name.
He won't say Amaryllis because of the S, because of his lisp. He's ashamed.
We know all about his lisp, Amaryllis. Well, Winthrop?
I'll bet he won't say it.
No, thank you, Amaryllis.
Amaryllis, Amaryllis. He's crying.
so mad at people just because of his lisp?
It's not only because he lisps. That's just part of it, Amaryllis.
Well, what's the other part?
Never mind, dear. It's just that he never talks very much.
Not even to you and your mother?
No, dear. We all have to be a little patient.
But I am patient, even though he never talks to me. I do him every night on the Evening Star. You have to do it the second you see it, too, or it doesn't count. Good night, my Winthrop. Good night. Sleep tight.
There, darling, don't cry. You have lots of time. If not Winthrop, there'll be someone else.
Never. I'll end up an old maid like you. I'm sorry, Miss Marian. Can I play my crosshand piece?
May I?
May I play my crosshand piece?
You may.
See, without a sweetheart, there's no one to say goodnight to on the Evening Star.
I know, Amaryllis. For the time being, just say goodnight, my someone. You can put the name in when the right someone comes along.
All right, it's better than nothing.
Yes, it is. Now you can play your crosshand piece.
Now I may play my crosshand piece.
arrangement to my wife, Eulalie technician, for leading us in the singing. And to Ethel Toffelmeyer, our player, piano. As mayor of River City, I would like to welcome you river citizens to the annual 4th of July exercises set up indoor Madison Gymnasium account the weather. Fourscore. The members of the school board will now present a patriotic tableau. The members of the school board will not present a patriotic tableau. Some dispute about costumes, I suppose. Instead, I will present a spectacle, my wife. In which my wife, Eulalie McKechnie, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of
Set off that cracker.
I know who did it. Tommy Giles did it.
Yes, it was Tommy Giles.
Tommy Giles. I wouldn't leave if I was you.
Mrs. Shin will recover, no thanks to a certain young ruffian who is a disgrace to our school. Fourscore. The Payne's fireworks spectacle, Last Days of Pompeii, will take place, providing the rain stops by 9:30. It'll be out to Madison Picnic Park in the far meadow, across the creek from the pest house.
How can it be raining? Didn't the Gazette predict fair?
Sure did, Ewart. That's why we all prepared for a storm.
You wouldn't last very long in the banking business being accurate most of the time.
Okay, you know what? You're busy.
Just a moment here. Let's have order.
You.
Order!
Number 8's late again.
I make her early.
She's late, all right.
She's right on time. What's the matter with your watch?
What's the matter with you? You know what? You're big business and it doesn't.
Will you, members of the school board, stop bickering in public? Never mind. Fourscore.
We heard there's a pool table in town.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Now, just a moment here.
Is it a pool table or isn't it?
Will you allow me to get on with the exercises?
We don't want any more exercises until we get this pool table matter settled.
Yeah! Let's protect our children. Yeah! Resist sin and corruption.
Yeah!
Smite the devil and keep our young boys pure.
Keep them pure!
Friends, may I have your attention, please? Attention, please. I can deal with the troubled friends with the wave of my hand, this very hand. Please observe me, if you will. I'm Professor Harold Hill, and I'm here to organize a River City boys band. Oh, think, my friends, how could any pool table ever hope to compete with a gold trombone? Remember, my friends, what a handful of trumpet players did to the famous, fabled walls of Jericho. Oh, billiard parlored walls come a-tumbling down. Oh, a band will do it, my friends. Oh, yes, I said a boys' band, do you hear me? I said River City's gotta have a boys' band, and I mean she needs it today. Well, Professor Harold Hill's on hand, and River City's gonna have her boys' band. As sure as the Lord made little green apples, and that band's gonna be in uniform. Johnny, Willie, Teddy, Fred, and you'll see the glitter of crashing cymbals. You'll hear the thunder of rolling drums, the shimmer of trumpets, tan-ta-da! And you'll feel something akin to the electric thrill I once enjoyed when Gilmore, Liberati, Pat Conway, the great creator W.C. Handy, and John Philip Sousa all came to town on that very same historic day. 76 trombones led the big parade, with 110 cornets close at hand. There were more than 1,000 reeds springing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind. 76 trombones led the big parade, with 110 cornets right behind. They were followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. There were copper-bottom timpani and horse platoon, thundering all along the way. Double bell euphoniums and big bassoons, each bassoon having its big fat say. There were 50 mounted cannon in the battery, thundering all along the way. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters who improvisable, octaves higher than the score.
Trombones and the counterboard, well, 110 cornets blazed away. The rhythm of march, 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 all the kids began to march, and they're marching still right today.
Men, this calls for emergency action. I haven't seen Iowa people this excited since the night Frank Gotch and Strangler Lewis laid down on the mat for 3.5 hours without moving muscle. Never mind, I want that man's credentials. Grab that hoodlum! He almost blew up Mrs. Shin!
Thank you, Professor. Have to make an example of him. Ringleader, you know. What he does, the gang does.
Gee, Klein, let me go.
You wild kid, ya, hanging around with my oldest girl? His father's one of them day laborers down south. You wild kid, ya.
I wasn't hanging around with her.
Don't you contradict me.
We's just walking together. Gee, Klein.
You watch your phraseology. I know what you's doing. My little Gracie seen ya. I don't want to see you near my oldest girl again, or you'll hear from me till he'll lay the rails. Hill, I'll talk to you Monday morning about this band thing. Over at City Hall, 10 o'clock sharp. Men, I want that man's references.
Constable, I'll be responsible for the boy.
You don't know this kid. He's tough, and he's got his whole gang waiting outside.
Oh, I'll be careful. Tommy, I'd like to talk to you about the band.
Oh, gee, Professor, that's for little kids.
I'm not talking about being in the band. You're mechanically minded, aren't you? Ever do anything with perpetual motion?
Nearly had it a couple of times.
You did? Well, you're my man. Do you realize nobody has ever invented a music holder for the marching piccolo player? No place to hang the music.
Gee, Clyde, wonder where I could get some wire.
Look in your cellar, Tommy. That's where people keep wire. Oh, Tommy. Constable, I'll show you how to break up a gang. A young lady, what's your name?
Zanita. I didn't know he was beckoning to me. God.
Do you know Tommy Gilas?
Well,
Tommy, this is Anita. Escort the young lady home.
Oh, except I'm not going home. I haven't got to the library. God.
Escort the young lady home by way of the library. By way of the candy kitchen.
Yes, sir. Do I have to?
You have to.
Yes, sir.
God.
Professor, you're a pretty bright young fellow. You did make a couple of mistakes, though.
Oh?
The mayor happens to own that billiards parlor and that new pool table.
Oh. And what was my other mistake?
That's Anita. She's the mayor's oldest girl.
Just a minute, Professor Hill. We'd like to have your credentials. We're the school board.
Academic certificates. Nothing of the kind.
We need letters and papers.
Make a put up a bond! You know what? We get credentials. Yeah, we have to make a bond.
Gentlemen, what am I hearing? Say, ice cream. Fine, talk then. Down here. Talk slow. See, singing is only sustained talking. Now you, sir.
I was trying to figure what you were
Now
talking
you.
about.
Now you up here. Ladies, from now on, you will never see one of these men without the other three.
Oh, Professor.
And then I slapped her, and then she was like, and I went like that, and then we went back to talking.
How can there be
I don't know what she was talking about.
Where is the good in goodbye? In goodbye, your apprehension.
be fair in farewell, dear, while one single star shines above. How can there be any sin insincere? Aren't we sincerely in love? Oh, we're in love.
I don't suppose you live alone or anything.
No.
I've got some wonderful caramels over at the hotel.
Mr. Hill.
Professor Hill.
Professor of what? At what college do they give a degree for annoying women on the street, like a Saturday night ride in a public dance hall?
Oh, I wouldn't know about that. I'm a conservatory man myself. Gary, Indiana, gold medal class of '05.
Even should that happen to be true, does that give you the right to follow me around wherever I go? Another thing, Mr. Hill, I'm not as easily mesmerized or hoodwinked as some of the people in this town, and I think it only fair to warn you I have a shelf full of reference books in there, which may very well give me some interesting information about you.
Hey, Gregory.
Marcellus, and don't call me Greg.
How'd you make out with the music teacher?
Oh, scrumptious. 8 out of my hand the minute I tip my hat.
She did? Boy, did you cause swap tonight. For a minute, even I thought you knew something about leading a band. Just like when you imitated that band concert fell back in Joplin.
Nah, kid stuff. I'm in rare form these days, son. Just keep your eye on me for the next 4 weeks.
4 weeks? It only used to take 10 days for the instruments to arrive.
It still does, but it takes 4 weeks for the uniforms.
Oh, no, Greg, you haven't had uniforms?
Uniforms and instruction books.
Instruction books? But you can't pass yourself off as a music professor. I mean, not for any 4 weeks.
Mars.
But you don't know one note from another.
I have a revolutionary new method called the think system where you don't bother with any of the notes.
But in 4 weeks, the people want to hear the music. You'll have to lead a band.
But when the uniforms arrive, they'll forget all else. At least long enough for me to collect and leave. Oh, this is a refined operation, son. And I've got it timed right down to the last wave of the brakeman's hand on the last train out of town. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mr. Washburn, I've got some thing to do.
Gonna line yourself up a little canoodling?
Well.
Say, I could set you up with Ethel's sister. Lovely girl. Teaches Sunday school.
Oh, no. No wide-eyed, eager, wholesome, innocent Sunday school teacher for me. That kind of gal spins webs no spider ever. Listen, boy. A girl who trades on all that purity. Merely wants to trade my independence for her security. The only affirmative she will file refers to marching down the aisle. No golden, glorious, gleaming, pristine goddess. No, sir, for no Diana do I play for, and I can tell you that right now. I snarl, I hiss, how can ignorance be compared to bliss? I spark, I fizz, for the lady who knows what time it is. I cheer, I rave, for the virtue I'm too late to save. The sadder but wiser girl for me. No bright-eyed, blushing, breathless baby doll baby. No, sir, that kind of child ties knots no sailor ever knew. I prefer to take a chance on a more adult romance. No dewy young miss who keeps resisting all the time. She keeps insisting. No wide-eyed, wholesome, innocent female. No, sir, why she's the fisherman, I'm the fish, you see. Plop! I flinch, I shy. When the last with the delicate air goes by, I smile, I grin. When a gal with a touch of sin walks in, I hope and I pray for Hester to win just one more A. The sadder but wiser girl's the girl for me. The sadder but wiser girl for me.
No, yes, it went this way. It went, yes, it did. Oh my, yeah, yes, it did.
No,
Yes,
it did. Oh, Professor Hill, we're all agog, simply agog.
On the QV.
Everyone's so excited about the band. I'm Ethel Toffenmeyer, the player piano girl.
And this is Miss Hicks, and this is Miss Squires. And of course, you met Eulalie McKechnie Shin, our mayor's wife. Oh, Eulalie, isn't this exciting?
Oh, I couldn't say. Oh, no, I couldn't say. Oh, no, I could not say at this time. You know, my husband, he'll wish to investigate, I'm sure, so naturally I'm reticent. Oh, yes, I'm reticent.
I understand, Mrs. Shin. But you see, my plans include a committee on the dance. Mrs. Shin, do that again the way you raised your foot just now.
Oh, well, Mr. Hill, I have a bunion there that...
Oh, what grace. What natural flow of rhythm. What expression of line and movement.
Mr. Hill.
You must accept the chairmanship for the Ladies' Auxiliary for the classic dance, mustn't she, ladies?
Oh, yes, you must.
Mrs. Shin, every move you make bespeaks Delsart. Will you, Mrs. Shin, say yes?
Oh, that is dancing. Eulalie McKechnie Shin. Oh.
Then you accept?
Indeed I will, and I would like to say...
Thank you. And now the young lady who plays the piano. Marian Prue, I believe?
Oh.
After all, she is the librarian.
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 cheep,
Professor, her kind of woman doesn't belong on any committee. Of course, I shouldn't tell you this, but she advocates dirty books.
Dirty books?
Chaucer!
Balzac! And the worst thing, of course, I shouldn't tell you this, but...
Stop! I'll tell. The man made brazen overtures to a person who had never had a friend in this town until she came here. Old Miser Madison.
Miser Madison?
Mm-hmm.
Madison Gymnasium? Madison Picnic Park? Madison Hospital? That Miser Madison?
Exactly. Who do you think he was, anyway?
Well, I should say. Show off. Gave the town the library, too, didn't he?
That's just it. When he died, he left the library building to the city.
But he left all the books to her.
And she was seen going and coming from his place.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That woman made brazen overtures with a gilt-edged guarantee. She had a golden glimmer in her eyes and a silver voice with a counterfeit ring. Just melt her down and you'll reveal a lump of lead as cold as steel. Here, where a woman's heart should be.
He left River City, the library building, but he left all the books to her.
Chaucer.
Balzac.
Your credentials!
I have just what you want up at the hotel. Come with me. Good night, ladies.
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk, cheep, 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 pick a little, talk a little, cheep.
It's all right. I know everything and it doesn't make any difference.
What are you talking
You were probably very young and anybody can make a mistake.
What?
I'll only be in town a short while and the sadder but wiser girl for me.
Would you please make your selection and leave?
I have.
Well, what do you want to take out?
The librarian.
Quiet, please.
The librarian. Marian, you're not listening. Look. Marian. Marbles. 6 Steelies, 8 Aggies, a dozen Pee-wees, and 1 big lassie with an American flag in the middle. I think I'll drop them.
No!
Shh! Madam Librarian. What can I do, my dear, to catch your ear? I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, heaven help us, if the library caught on fire and the volunteer hose brigademan had to whisper the news to Marian. Madam Librarian, what can I say, my dear, to make it clear? I need you badly, badly, Madam Librarian. Marian, if I stumbled and I busted my whatchamacallit, I could lie on your floor unnoticed till my body had turned to Marian. Madam Librarian. Now in the moonlight, a man could sing it. In the moonlight. And a fellow would know that his darling had heard every word of his song. Moonlight, helping along. But when I try in here to tell you, dear, I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, it's a long lost cause I can never win, for the civilized world accepts his unforgivable sin. And he's talking out loud with any librarian, such as Marian. Madam Librarian. But when I try in here to tell you, dear, I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marian, it's a long lost cause I can never win, for the civilized world accepts his unforgivable sin. And he's talking out loud with an librarian, such as Marian. The ladies' dance committee meets Tuesday nights. Madam Librarian. Marshmallow. Well, Tommy, we've had a pretty good morning. 11 sales out of the past 12 tries. Tell you what, it's almost noon. Why don't you go home and get some dinner? I'll try a couple by myself.
Goodbye, Professor.
Thanks, Tommy.
Just a moment here. Are you soliciting? You haven't got a license.
Why, no, Mr. Mayor. I was just walking.
Flattery will not avail you. Soliciting is statutory in this county. Malfeasance without a permit. Why haven't you been down to City Hall with your by-gosh references?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, your hand!
What?
Oh, no!
What?
The spread of the little finger. It's hereditary.
What does that mean?
It means that your son's little finger is perfectly situated to operate the spit valve on a B-flat flugelhorn.
Is that good?
Is that good? It means that America has at last produced an artist that can flugel the minute waltz in 50 seconds.
How could I get one of those horns?
Sign here, Mr. Mayor. $17 import fee.
Just think, I could have missed this whole... Wait a minute. I haven't got a son! You unscrupulous fly-by-night! You unscrupulous! You better be down to City Hall with your by-gosh references at 3 o'clock sharp.
You mean this afternoon?
Couldn't make myself any plainer if I was a Quaker on his day off.
Peru! Do you realize you have the facial characteristics of a cornet virtuoso?
I'm not sure I understand you entirely, Professor.
If your boy has that same firm chin and those splendid cheek muscles, by George, not that he could ever be truly great, you understand.
Oh, is that so? And in the name of Saint Bridget, why not?
Well, you see, all the really great cornet players were Irish. O'Clark, O'Mendez, O'Klein.
But Professor, we are Irish.
No, really? Well, that does it. Your boy was born to play the cornet. Sign here, Mrs. Peru. That'll be $7 earnest money. Nothing more due until the first installment at the opening of band practice. And I'll need his measurements for his uniform.
His uniform?
Oh. Why, hello, son. Yes, his uniform. Not a penny more due until delivery, which gives him 4 weeks to enjoy, to anticipate, to imagine at no cost whatsoever. Never allow the demands of tomorrow to interfere with the pleasures and excitements of today. A stripe? Why, certainly, my boy. There will be plenty of stripes. What do you think of that?
You'll have to excuse Winthrop, Professor. We can hardly get him to say 3 words a day, even to us. If you can get him to play in the band, you'll have St. Michael's own way with you. But if anybody can do it, I'll bet you can. Out of a crowd, I'd pick you for hod carrying, clay pipe smoking, shamrock wearing, harp playing, mavernine pinching, terrace hall, minstrel singing, Irishman! Be gobbin, be jabbers! Where are you from, me boy?
Gary, Indiana.
I knew it, Gary. Where did you say?
Gary, Indiana. In fact, Gary Conservatory was my alma mater.
Was she now?
Why, yes. Gold medal class of Art 5. How to do, Miss Peru?
How to do, Mr. Hill?
Peru, of course I knew the name sounded familiar. I've been trying to see you since the other night after we talked, but...
He wants to put Winthrop in the band.
We're not interested, Mama.
But Marian, the boy might have his father's musical gift. He does have my jaw, you know.
Oh, your husband's musical? Well, I'd like to have a talk.
Do you burst in on everyone's home like this, prying into personal affairs? We're not interested.
Marian.
Well, that's 1 for and 1 against. Why don't we let the boy's father decide?
The boy's father is dead. Anything else?
I'm sorry. But that is all the more reason why your brother should have something
My brother is a 10-year-old problem child who can't seem to understand why his father was taken away. Would you care to explain it to him? He's been brooding about it for 2 years. As to your musical tricks, why don't you go into business with some nice carnival man who sells gold-painted watches and glass diamond rings?
I get the feeling she likes the idea. A little apprehensive, perhaps, but I admire that in a woman. Just keep me alive, and I'll be back later in the week.
Just a moment, Professor. About the boy's measurements. I make all his clothes. Sleeve 21, waist 18, crouch 14.
Fine. I really must get back to my hotel.
Professor, I do hope you'll excuse Marian. She's not really...
Please don't worry about a thing. I'm sure that at heart she is as lovely as yourself. Good day to you, Winthrop Peru.
Has he gone?
He has, and I hope not forever. Darling, don't you ever think about your future? Gary, Indiana, conservation class of Art 5. Now, darling.
Now, Mama, surely a girl's future doesn't depend on encouraging every fast-talking, self-centered, woman-chasing traveling man who comes to town. And the fact that he claims his commodity is music does not, in this particular case, impress me.
All right, darling, all right. Only it's a well-known principle that if you put the flint in one drawer and the steel in another, you'll never strike much of a fire.
Mama! Winthrop! Winthrop, I know you're there. Please go to the library and ask Miss Grubb to give you the book I set aside. It's the Indiana State Educational Journal, 1890 to 1910. It's a large brown volume.
Do I have to?
Yes. I've written everything down. You won't have to say anything. Thank you, dear.
Now what are you up to? What do you need books for at this hour of the night?
I have a feeling that the Indiana State Journal may help me poke some large holes in the professor's claims.
Well, I give up. At your age, if you don't mind my asking, what kind of white knight do you expect to come riding along?
Well, I'm not waiting for Luther Griner, who backs me into the ancient history shelf every time he comes into the library.
He does.
But I'm not waiting for a man in shining white armor either. My white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings, just someone to love me, who is not ashamed of a few nice things. My white knight, what my heart would say if it only knew. Please, dear Venus, show me love. All I want is a plain man. All I want is a modest man, a quiet man, a gentleman, a straightforward and honest man to sit with me in a cottage somewhere in the state of Iowa. And I would like him to be more interested in me than he is in himself, and more interested in us than in me. And if occasionally he'd ponder what makes Shakespeare and Beethoven great, him I could love till I die. Him I could love till I die. My white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings, just someone to love me, who is not ashamed of a few nice things. My white knight, let me walk with him where the others ride by, walk and love him till I die, till I
Zanita, hey, Zanita.
Tommy, Papa and Mom are sitting right there in the bank. You good?
All right then, meet me after supper.
I can't. It's Epworth Lake night. Meet you where?
The footbridge.
The footbridge. Isn't that what I just said? First it was the lumber yard, and now it's the footbridge. And where will you take me after that, huh? The Black Hole of Calcutta? He gods.
I only wanted to show you my invention.
What invention?
My music holder for the marching piccolo players. It still has a few minor flaws, you see. Such as when you hold it tight enough to keep the music steady, it cuts off the circulation so you can't wiggle your fingers. Meanwhile, you could go blind.
Tommy, it's Papa.
Is that the first thing I said or not?
Yes, George.
Yes. Very first thing I said, or I'll eat hay with a horse. Get that spellbinder's credentials, I said, morning of July 4th, 1912. And now look, my wife is off dancing at any and all hours instead of in the home.
But George.
The school board is singing up street and down alley instead of sending to city matters. My oldest girl is off boodling around with some wild kid, and my business has fallen off so far I can't find the balance sheet.
Marian, I found something interesting in this book about Professor Hill's alma mater,
Is who?
his university.
Oh, yes, I know all about that. In fact, that's the only thing I can ever get out of him. Gary Conservatory, class of '05.
But if you'll take time to read a little bit about the conservatory, I don't think you'll have to look further. It's here on page...
Papa! The Wells Fargo wagon is coming up from the depot.
Wells Fargo wagon? A likely story. At this hour of the day, the Wells Fargo wagon? Nonsense.
It could be the band instrument.
The band instrument?
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a-coming down the street. Oh, please let it be for me. Oh, the
me once, send me a bathtub and a cross-cut saw.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. A prepaid surprise or COD.
Or dishes.
Yes, it could be. Yes, you're right. It surely could be something very, very special now. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. Oh, don't let it pass my door. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a coming down the street. I wish I knew what he was coming for.
The DAR has sent a cannon for the courthouse square.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a now I know but it could be something special just for me.
Oh, you Wells Fargo wagon, keep a coming. Oh, you Wells Fargo wagon, keep a coming. Oh, you Wells Fargo wagon, don't you dare to make a stop until you stop for me.
Kids, you will each receive individual instruction in due course. In the meantime, stay off the streets, get acquainted with your instruments, and think of the minuet in G. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da.
La-di-da, la-di-da.
That's the most scrumptious solical thing you ever saw. I never saw something so scrumptious or solical in my entire life. Oh, sister!
Round one for you, Mr. Hill. But I better hear some by gosh tooting out of those horns in pretty short order, or I'll see you down in front of the grand jury down by the county seat. About that book.
Come, George, Tempest Jesus.
You watch your phraseology. Go home. I've got to get something from the librarian.
The ladies' dance committee meets Tuesday nights at the high school.
Take the bodies with you. Now let's have a go at our Grecian urns. 1 Grecian urn, 2 Grecian urns, and a fountain. Trickle, 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 trickle. Yes. I predict that our Del Sart display will be the highlight of the ice cream sociable. Gentlemen, if you're ready. Oh, ladies, don't make me tell you again. Always keep your faces to the audience. Mr. Dunlop, if you're ready.
It's you in the sunrise, you in my cup. It's you all the way into town.
It's your sweet hello, dear, that sets me up.
And it's your got to go, dear, that gets me down. It's you on my pillow in all of my dreams, till once more the morning breaks through. What words could be saner or truer or plainer than it's you? It's you.
Smile, ladies, smile.
Yes, it's you. Oh, yes, it's you.
Mr. Washburn, we were entitled for 5 more minutes.
If you think you can hold these kids back,
Well,
go
I can.
ahead.
Start her up, Mr. Washburn. Wait till you see the new steps Professor Hill taught us.
All right, will be.
Shapoopy!
A new kiss on first date is usually a hussy, and a woman who kissed on second time round is anything but fussy. And a woman who waits till the third time round, head in the clouds, feet on the ground. She's the girl he's glad he's found. She's the shapoopy, 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 shapoopy. Shapoopy, shapoopy, shapoopy.
But you can win her yet.
Walk her once just to raise a curtain, then walk around twice and it makes her. Once more from a flower garden, she'll never get sore. Beg your pardon. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. Si, fa, sol, la, mi, re. Squeeze her once when she isn't looking. If you get a squeeze back, that's fancy cooking. Once more and flap her up, she'll never get sore on the way to supper. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, do. Now little cells and no gal as anyone can see. Look at her now, she's a good gal who only goes for me. Squeeze her once when she is looking. Get a squeeze back, that's fancy cooking. Once more for the fast rub, she'll never get sore on the way to supper. Do, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, shapoopy, shapoopy, shapoopy. It's hard to get. Shapoopy, shapoopy, shapoopy.
But you can win her yet.
Off my daughter!
Mr. Shin, Your Honor, your daughter and I have been going steady behind your back.
Why, you...
We'd rather do it in front of your back, but...
Do what? Never mind.
Zena's scared of you, but I'm not. I'd think you'd hate to have your own daughter scared of you, Geely Cly.
I'm gonna warn you once more. If I ever catch you touching my daughter again, oh my gosh, horsewhip you till hell won't have it.
But George, you...
Not one poop out of you, madam.
I think George meant peep.
Yes. And now, out of this public building.
I got as much right to be in this public building as anybody.
Right? How do you get any right around here? Aiding and abiding the swindling affairs of this spellbinding symbol salesman? You know what I see written all over you? Reform school. Now get out of here, you wild kid, you.
Papa, please! It's Capulets like you that make blood in the marketplace! You
You watch your phraseology. Go home. Eulalie,
George, I was just...
you tend to your dance.
My dance?
I'll handle Zenita, taking up with wild kids in the wrong side of town.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just make you understand.
Well, you can't. And by the way, thanks for nothing. I read that book you gave me from cover to cover for a whole week now and didn't find a thing.
Mr. Mayor, if you please.
I'll settle your hash as soon as I get these premises off of my oldest girl. Yes.
All right. But in the meantime, I want you to know that I'm vouching for Tommy Gilas. That kid's got the confidence of every kid in this town. You'll be standing in line waiting to shake his hand by the time our band plays its first concert.
By the time your band plays its first concert, the individual members of the foregather in wheelchairs on account of their tripping over their beards. Never mind, my fine young feathered... Never mind! Oliver, Lacey, Earward, Allen! I want this man's references, and I want him tonight. Keep an eye on him. He's as slippier than a Mississippi sturgeon.
You mean you want us to get his credentials, sir?
Get his papers or get him in jail. Couldn't make myself any clearer if I was a button hook in the well water.
Professor Hill, I think Mayor Shin behaved abominably, and I think it was wonderful of you coming to Tommy's defense.
That was nothing.
Yes, it was.
No, a man can't dodge an issue every time a little personal risk is involved. What does the poet say? A coward dies 1,000 deaths, the brave man only 500. Unfortunately, the mayor was already pretty mad on account of his billiard parlor. Now, I suppose a musical recommendation from someone such as yourself would help, but I couldn't ask you to do a thing like that.
Professor Hill.
You would?
I'd be glad to. I just wish I was a little more informed. I've been meaning to talk to you about Winthrop's cornet.
His cornet? Mother of pearl keys?
I'm sure it's fine, but you see, he never touches it. The first week or so, he made a few experimental blats, I guess you'd say?
Yes, blats.
And he hums the minuet and G-dee-da-dee-da.
La-di-da, la-di-da.
Almost constantly. But he never touches the cornet.
Well, you see, it's not really
He tells me about some think system. If he thinks the minuet in G, we don't have to bother with the notes. Now, Professor...
Miss Marian, the think system is a revolutionary method, I'll admit. But so was Galileo's conception of the heavens, Columbus's conception of the globe, Bach's conception of the well-tempered clavichord. No, I cannot discuss these things here in public, but if you'll allow me to call... When may I call?
Oh, any night this week.
Please join our Delsart committee.
Oh, you were such a dear dancing to poopy with Professor Hill tonight. You danced like a fairy princess with a moonbeam for your floor. You had a golden shimmer in your hair and silver shoes for all to see. We know that you will soon unfold a forgiving heart as pure as gold. Here, where a woman's heart should be.
Fairy princess, moonbeam floor, golden shimmer, silver shoes. Now unfold a heart of gold. Here where woman's heart should be. Professor told us to read these books and we simply adore them all.
Chaucer,
Rabelais, Balzac.
Sorry, Professor, but we got our orders.
We all been deputized.
Oh, yes, congratulations. Let's see now. I've been trying to give you fellows my references and credentials all week, but you always seem to get off the topic somehow. Now, I have just what you want over at my hotel. Take me a second.
Afraid I'll have to go along with you.
Yes. Let's see if I... Oh, what's this? A testimonial from Madame Rini, the only female bassoon player to ever hit the Red Path circuit. Her stage name, of course. She was actually from Moline, Lyda Rose Quackenbush. Oh, the name is the same as the old song, Lyda Rose. Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose.
To get the sun back in the sky. Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose, about 1,000 kisses shy. Ding dong ding, I can hear the chapel bell chime. Ding dong ding, at the least suggestion, I'll pop the question. Lyda Rose, I'm home again, Rose, without a sweetheart to my name. Lyda Rose, now everyone knows that I am hoping you're the same. So here's my love song, not fancy or fine. Lyda Rose, oh, won't you be mine? Lyda Rose, oh, Lyda Rose, oh, light a rose.
Dream of days, dream of a love song that might have been. Do I love you? Oh yes, I love you. Will I ever tell you? But only when we dream again. Sweet and low, sweet and low. How sweet the memory, how long ago. Forever, oh yes, forever. Will I ever tell you? I know.
Light a rose, oh, light a rose, oh.
Dream
Light a rose, I'm home again, rose without a streak in the sky. Light a rose, I'm home again, rose about 1,000 kisses shine. Ding dong ding, I can hear the chapel bell chime. Ding dong ding, at the least suggestion, I'll pop the question. Light a rose, I'm home again, rose without a sweetheart to my name. Light a rose, now everyone knows that I'm hoping you're the same. So here is my love song, not fancy or fine.
Will I ever tell
Light a
you?
rose, oh, won't you be
I
mine? Light a rose, oh, light a rose, oh, light a rose. Will you ever tell him? Won't you ever tell him? Ah, yes. Ah, no. Ah, fiddlesticks. Just open your mouth and let it come out.
Now, Mama.
Now, nothing. If he ever comes to call again and you see him alone, if you haven't got the gumption to tell him how you feel.
Tell him?
Well, there's nothing wrong with a ladylike hint.
Mama! Winthrop, where have you been?
Fishing. Fishing.
With Harold.
You mean Professor Hill?
Mm-hmm. And look, I still have some worms left.
Did you have a good time?
Scrumptious. He told me all about his hometown, Gary, Indiana. And he said he'd take me there someday. And he taught me a song with hardly any acid in it. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. Let me say it once again. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. That's the town that newlywed. If you'd like to have a logical explanation how I happen on this elegant skinstipation, I will say without a moment of hesitation, there is just one place that can light my face. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, not Louisiana, Paris, France, New York, or Rome, but Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, my home sweet home. If you'd like to have a logical explanation how I happen on this elegant skinstipation, I will say without a moment of hesitation, there is just one place that can light my face. Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana.
Not Louisiana, Paris, France, New York, or Rome, but Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana, my home sweet home. I'll be right back. I have to throw Amaros my worms. La-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da.
Leave the dishes. I'll do them, Mama.
Don't you have to change for the sociable?
There's time later.
Shins live around here somewhere.
The Shin home is on East Elm. This is West Elm.
Ah, criminy. I see you're the piano teacher in town. You must know all about this fellow Hill forming a boys' band here.
Yes.
Well, don't let it worry you no more. I got the goods on him in spades, swindling, tubing, thimble rigger. That's why I gotta go see Shin. Number 8 only makes a 15-minute water stop. Though I wish it was 20. Would sure like to concentrate 5 minutes on you, girly girl.
Who are you?
Name's Charlie Cowell, Anvil salesman. But just now I'm out to protect the good name of the traveling fraternity from this swindler.
Mr. Cowell, you're making a big mistake.
Mistake my old lady's corset cover. That fella's been the raspberry seed of my wisdom tooth just long enough. He spoiled Illinois for me, and he's not gonna spoil Iowa. Say, what kind of a music teacher are you? You didn't see through him? Why, he's no more professor.
I know all about that. Band leaders are always called professor. It's a harmless deception. He's a fine director, and his scholastic...
No, wait a minute. Fine director? Have you heard one note of music from any band?
Well, no, but...
But nothing, girly girl. He never formed a band in his life, and he never will.
If you'll just listen to me for a minute...
I'd like to. I'd like to do more than that if I had the time. I sure got the inclination. But I gotta get on that train. I gotta leave this dynamite with somebody on the way to the depot. Bye, girly girl. See you next time through.
Just a minute, Mr. Cowell. You don't know me yet.
Is that an invitation?
No. I mean, I don't know you, and...
Yes, I'd need more time anyway.
As well as I'd like to.
Oh, nothing wrong there, girly girl.
I've never met a man who sells anvils before. That's different.
Takes a real salesman, I can tell you that. Anvils have a limited appeal, you know. Oh, what am I doing? I miss that train, I'll get fired, and I gotta leave word about that fellow Hill.
Leave word with me.
Not on your tin type. How do I know you deliver this stuff?
Try me. There's your train, now run for it.
You double-dealing little... Who do you think you're protecting? That guy's got a girl in every county in Illinois, and that's 102 counties. Not counting the piano teachers like you he cozies up to keep their mouths shut. Unbelievable. Neither one of you's heard the last of me, girly girl.
Good evening, Miss Marian. Light a rose, now everyone knows that I am hoping you're the same. So here's my love song, not fancy or fine. Light a rose, oh, won't you be mine? Light a rose, oh, light a rose, oh, light a rose. Marian, dear, who was you talking? Why, Professor Hill!
Miss Peru, top of the evening. Miss Marian.
You two come up here and set. I've got some jelly on the stove.
There's no jelly on the stove, Mama.
Well, I'll put some on then.
Shall we set, as your mother said?
Well...
You did ask me to call.
Did I? I didn't mean anything.
Now, Miss Marian, I'm not suggesting your invitation inferred anything but academic enlightenment. The think system. I've been by your house to try and explain it to you a time or two this week, but there always seemed to be somebody around. Mostly ladies, I thought.
Yes, Miss Squires and several of the ladies.
Oh, good. I wouldn't want anybody beating my time.
You wouldn't?
No, ma'am. Well, it's evidently not the convenient night. I'll see you at the sociable later.
Mr. Hill, Is it true that you've had 100? What I'm trying to say is,
Yes?
is it really true that you've developed a think system?
A what? A think system! It's really very simple. As simple as whistling. Nobody has to show you how to use your lips in whistling. You think a tune here and it comes out clearly here. Give it a try before you ask any questions.
I'll take your word.
Could we sit down?
Are all music teachers as dense as I am?
All music teachers?
I dare say you've met dozens, even 100.
Well,
And have they all been as fascinated as I have with the think system?
some more, some less. One young lady had showed me the same system when I arrived in her town. She showed me a few refinements.
I see.
Have I said something wrong?
Please don't let me keep you, Professor Hill. I'm sure you have many more important things to do than explain the think system to me.
Can't think of one.
And I must be very dull company for a man of your experience.
Now say, where'd you get an idea like that?
One hears rumors of traveling salesmen.
Miss Marian, you mustn't believe everything you hear. After all, one may hear rumors about librarians.
I suppose you're referring to Uncle Matty.
Uncle Matty?
Mr. Madison, my father's best friend. No matter what they say, he left me an assured job so Mother and Winthrop and I could have some security. Surely you don't believe...
No, I don't. But that's exactly what I'm saying. And why do you think people start these rumors?
Narrow-mindedness and jealousy. Jealousy mostly, I guess.
Exactly. And jealousy mostly starts rumors about traveling salesmen. What have you heard?
Oh, nothing about you generally, just nothing about you specifically.
What have you heard generally?
But of course, it stands to reason that narrow-mindedness and jealousy could lead to, take you for instance. Your attentions to customers and, well, teachers might easily be misinterpreted, mightn't they?
Why?
And so you say, if another salesperson or someone were jealous, they could be downright lies, couldn't they?
What could?
Rumors and things.
Oh, of course.
It just proves you should never believe everything you hear. If you just discuss things.
Miss Marian, I would be delighted to discuss anything in the world with you. But could we do it sitting down? You do sit. Your knees bend and all.
We could sit on the porch steps.
We could also sit in a large hollow log over at the footbridge.
I couldn't. I've never been to the footbridge with a man in my life.
Just to talk.
I can't. I have to get dressed for the sociable.
Then meet me there in 15 minutes.
I just can't. Some other time, maybe tomorrow.
My dear little librarian, pile up enough tomorrows and you'll find you've collected nothing but a lot of empty yesterdays. I don't know about you, but I want to make today something worth remembering.
Oh, so would I.
Footbridge, 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Mama!
What?
I just told Professor Hill I'd meet him at the footbridge in 15 minutes.
Glory be and saints be praised, it works!
What does?
I've been using the think system on you from the parlor.
Gregory! The uniforms have arrived. The kids are in them already. The people will be shouting for music if they show up at the sociable.
Yeah.
Here's most of the money. I got Tommy to collect it. He's keeping them at the lumber yard for now.
All right, thank you, Mars. Go get the rig.
I got it.
What time's the freight go?
9:40 from the junction.
Well, that's not even 8:30 yet.
Look, you want to turtle wordle and get yourself caught in a bunny trap, you go ahead. But
don't worry, Mars. I'll meet you at the hotel in plenty of time. Miss Marian, you're late.
You said 15 minutes.
What I mean is you're about, 26 years late. Took you all this time to come to the footbridge with a fella?
If you want to know the truth, it was almost longer.
Oh?
I suppose I'm not the first to find it easier to think when not under the spell of your salesmanship.
Now, Miss Marian, surely you don't think I've been selling you anything?
No, you've given me something. That's why I decided to come.
I don't recall giving you anything.
But you have. Something beautiful. That's why I came. Please don't be afraid I expect too much more. One can't expect a traveling salesman to stay put. I know there have been many ports of call, and there'll be many more. But that doesn't mean I can't be grateful for what you will have left behind for me.
Marian, I don't think I understand what you're saying.
There were bells on the hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all, till there was you. There were birds in the sky, but I never saw them winging. No, I never saw them at all, till there was you. And there was music, and there were wonderful roses. They tell me in sweet, fragrant meadows of dawn and dew. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all, till there was you. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all, till there was
Marian, there's so much you don't know about me. Excuse me, I'm expecting a cable from Hector Berlioz. This could be it. Now what?
Who's the salesman here? Sounds like she's selling and you're buying.
Are you nuts? I didn't know I was going to be able to leave tonight. I had to keep her off balance, didn't I? I told you I
Well,
was
she's
busy.
so off balance now that you can't tell her from a catboat in a hurricane.
Listen here, Buster Brown. I'm not leaving without my commission.
But you can't do nothing with...
Never you mind. I know what I'm about. Now beat it. Go get the rig. Never a peaceful moment in the music business. Now, where were we?
You were about to tell me what I don't know about you?
Well, we don't really have to get into just that now, do we?
No, we don't, Harold. Or ever, for that matter. The librarian hasn't felt much like doing any research lately, but she did plenty when you first arrived.
Oh? About what?
About Professor Harold Hill, Gary Conservatory, class of '05. Harold, there wasn't any conservatory in '05.
There certainly was.
Because the town wasn't even built till '06. See you at the sociable.
You knew the whole time?
Since July 7th, 3 days after you came. I tore this page out of the Indiana Journal. It was originally intended to use against you, but now I give it to you with all my heart.
But if you knew, why didn't you? Why, you little. Well, 110 cornets played the air. Then I modestly took my place as the one and only bass, and I pop up and down the square.
Good night, my someone, good night, my love.
With 110 cornets right behind.
Our star is shining its brightest light.
There were horns of every shape and sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be.
While 110 cornets played the air.
I wish I may now good night, my someone, good night.
Greg, this guy's crazy. He's going over town spilling.
I'll say I'm crazy. Missed my train, probably lost my job, but I got you now, Hill, and you'll pay. You'd be in the clink right now, hadn't it been for that piano teacher. I told her all about you, and what'd she do? Lily gags me around until I couldn't get to Shin. That no-good, man-hungry, dried-up little duck.
Get out of here or I'll kill you, you loudmouth anvil salesman. What does that even...
You big blow-off. And I'll stay in this town till you get yours up, down, throwing sideways. Well, you never even knew the territory.
Greg, we gotta go. Come on, let's go.
And to Grecian earth.
Listen to this man!
You gullible, green grass goats. Can't you get it through your heads that you're being swindled out your eye teeth right now? This minute, there's a burglar in the bedroom while you're fiddling in the parlor. I'm talking about Harold Hill, road agent, highwayman, pickpocket.
Pickpocket?
Same thing. He's had his hand in your wallet, mister. And yours, madam, and yours, little lady. Ever since the first moment he came to this town. There is more documented evidence than you'll ever have time to read. There isn't any band. There never has been any band, and there never will be any band. And unless you hunt this man down right now like a mad dog, there won't be any Harold Hill either. He'll be on the next train out of town.
Now will you believe me?
Well, what are we waiting for? I want my money back.
Money back? I want his hide!
After him, men! And when you find him, bring him to the gymnasium! After him! Come on, men! Over there! Down there, boys! Check every nook and cranny you can find! Up there, boys! Over there! Find that man! Come on, ladies! After him! Over there! Down here! Hill!
Winthrop! Winthrop, where are you? Winthrop?
Marian, I've been looking all over for you. Where have you been?
Harold, it's Winthrop. He's run away. Please go. Please, Harold. They're talking about tar and feathers.
Greg! He's not over here. Let's go back down by the creek.
Winthrop!
Hey, wait a minute, son.
I'm not your son! Leave me go!
Not until I talk to you for a minute.
I won't listen. You wouldn't tell the truth anyway.
I would too.
Would not.
Would too. Tell you anything you want to know.
Can you lead a band?
No.
Are you a big, fat liar?
Yes.
Are you a dirty, rotten crook?
Yes.
What do you mean, go? You big liar!
Hey, what's the matter? You wanted the truth, didn't you? No, I'm bigger than you, and you're going to stand here and get it all, so you may as well quit wriggling. There's two things you're entitled to know. One, you're an excellent kid. I thought so from the first. That's why I wanted you in the band, so you'd quit moping around feeling sorry for yourself.
What band?
I always think there's a band, kid.
What's the other thing I'm entitled to know?
Well, actually, now that I think of it, the other thing is none of your business.
I wish you never come to River City!
No, you don't, Winthrop.
Sister, you believe him?
I believe everything he's ever said.
But he promised
I know what he promised us. And it all happened just like he said. The lights, and the flags, and the colors, and the symbols.
Where was all that?
In the way every kid in this town walked around all summer and looked and acted, especially you. And the parents, too. Does Mama wish he'd never come to River City?
Well, you do, don't you?
No, Winthrop. Now go, Professor, please.
Go on, Professor, hurry up.
I can't go, Winthrop.
Why not?
For the first time in my life, I've got my foot caught in the door. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all till there was you.
Oh, Professor, don't go that way, that way.
Which is why I interrupted the program at this point. Rest assured, this snake in our bosom would have been misapprehended by this time. Yes. And always remember, people of River City, I did everything in my power to prevent this dire happening from, well, happening. 4
What have you done to get our money back? The professor collected $300 for uniforms just tonight.
And we haven't even seen them uniforms yet.
I haven't seen any uniform or my boy since just after supper. He's a kidnapper.
Fine situation here.
7. Just a moment. Virtue has triumphed. The sword of retribution has cut down Professor Harold Hill. And if there are those, as I've heard, who are melting tar and collecting feathers, I will not say them nay.
Well, I should think there ought to be some of you who could forget our everlasting, I was stubborn, chip-on-the-shoulder arrogance long enough to remember River City before Harold Hill arrived. Do you remember? Well, do you? Surely there ought to be some of you who are grateful for what he's brought to this town, and if so, I should think you'd want to admit it.
You're wasting your time. If there's one person in this hall who doesn't think this man Hill should be tarred and feathered, let him stand up. Eulalie, sit down. And the rest of you standing there like a coat of Shropshire sheep. Sit! Have you people not forgotten the expensive uniforms, technical instruction books, and overpriced band instruments? Have you not forgotten the clear understanding and warranty that your kids will be taught to play in the band? Well, where's the band? Where's the band?
Think, men, think.
That's Barney! That's my book! Play to me, Linus, play to me!
This is Peru! That's Winthrop!